I don't really know how to do this, but I got to try to explain why I hate Lamborghini doors. This door mechanism here is not the only one that's like this. A lot of them are like this. They have too much flex and they're bolting onto areas that really weren't meant to support a door moving in the direction the Lamborghini style door does. Typically, these systems will use the stock Fiero hinge fastener places, like right up in here. This is where the stock hinge bolted to, and then this plate down here is bolted to where the stock hinge was. And on the Fiero, this material right here is just, it's basically sheet metal. And on a Fiero, they, with stock doors, they have a little welded nut on the inside at each one of these bolting positions that's threaded, and the bolts go through it, and the door swings out. There's a lot less stress, if you will, on these fastener locations when you've got doors that swing out the way they're supposed to than there is when you've got a door that's going the opposite direction that what the hinge fastener locations were designed for. This door is going up, and the weight's onto it different positions. Plus, when the door is closed, the struts here. In this case, we have two struts, but some of them just have one that's a little bit more compact, but basically the same type of pressure. When the door is closed, these struts are pressing all the time. They're trying to open the door all the time, even when you got the door closed. Even when you got it latched, they're still putting pressure on the door. And the surfaces where the hinge bolts, where the hinges bolt to the stock Fiero door, the stock hinges bolt on right here, and there's two more bolts down at the bottom. These are the same type of construction. The front end of the door is basically sheet metal, and we have two welded nuts, if you will, on the inside of sheet metal that's welded in from the factory, and they're threaded, and you put bolts through it, and you bolt a hinge on, and if you have a stock Fiero door, that hinge or that door is swinging out. Those parts are designed for the door to swing out. In this case, when you're doing some of these Lamborghini doors, I would imagine this is on basically any car, let alone a Fiero. When you're doing these Lamborghini doors, these are not going to handle the stress of the door. For example, if we look real close, let me see if I can do this. If we look real close and just wiggle this door a little bit, we're going to do a lot of wiggling of the door in this video. If we wiggle the door a little bit, you see this movement? I'm just wiggling the door just a little bit here. And if you see, it's hard to see, but right now the forward sheet metal that this hinge is bolted to is flexing. And after a while flexing, sooner or later it's going to fatigue. If you look at these mounting points here, it's really hard to see in the video, but as you wiggle the door, those are also flexing. The sheet metal that this is passing through is flexing. On this particular door kit, the piece that bolts here and then the piece that bolts down here are separate pieces. Typically, most of the kits have that all as one piece with a big bar tied between them. I guess the thing that's got us worked up today is that if you look real closely, let me get a little bit of light here. Okay, we've added a little bit of light to the project. If you look right down here, right in this area, right here where my finger is, you'll see that this plate that's bolted up to the door has a little bit of a bend right at the top. That bend, I think we did that bend here, and we did it while we were just trying to get the door adjusted. That metal that's bolted to the front of the door is a lot thicker than the door skin that it's bolted to, but it's still too thin. It's still thin enough that just a little bit of pressure on the back end of the door. Let's say, for example, you're in a parking lot and you don't want to swing the door up all the way to get out of the car. You just open the door up partially like it is right now, and you go to get out of the car, you're going to put your hand on the armrest as you lift yourself out, because you got the window up. You're going to lock the car, and you're going to end up with a bend like that. That's that's more pressure than what we put on it just to get this little bend that's in there now. Now, the problem we're having, and you have this with all the Lamborghini door kits, I think, is getting it all adjusted. We're trying to put the door panel back on, and we're trying to get this thing adjusted. See, the thing that we're trying to do today is we're trying to adjust everything so when you close the door, when you close the door, the window goes up against the seal, and that actually throws the door off. And that doesn't sound funny. Let me show you this. If you take a look over here at the end, go ahead, Rob. And Rob's down there, and he's just wiggling the end of the door a little bit, but see how much the door is moving, the bottom and the top. All of that is in this arm. All of it is this arm flexing. And as the door goes closed and the window goes up against the seal, the window going up against the seal pushes the bottom edge of the door in. So, we're working on trying to align the body panels, and if you have the window rolled down, the window going up against the seal doesn't push the bottom of the door in, so you have alignment on your body panel at that point with the window down, and you can get the body lined up perfect. When you roll the window up, the window gets up against the seal and it twists the door, and now the body panels don't align as well. These are the kind of things you deal with when you're dealing with a door that's put onto hinge pads or hinge things that really aren't designed for that. We've done some Lamborghini doors. We've converted some Lamborghini door kits ourselves over the years, and they also had a little bit of flex in them, but it was controllable. This is way bunches of flex, if you will. So if we get the door panel adjusted, get all our fenders and everything put together and get our door panel adjusted so that it lines up perfectly when the window is up, then when the window is down and you close the door, the panels aren't going to be perfectly aligned. Down towards the bottom, there's going to be a step, where you want to get it perfectly aligned. That's a tough part, and there's no way to get it both ways with Lamborghini doors. You can see there's a lot of flex in these components. You have flex in the forward edge of the door. You have flex where the hinges are bolted to the Fiero chassis. And a unitized chassis like a Honda or something. I've never put Lamborghini doors on a Honda or something, but I would imagine you probably got about the same thing, because those chassis are unitized. At least the Fiero is a space frame chassis, has as much strength as you're going to get. But when you don't have the bottom thing and the top one tied in, to each other with a heavy piece of steel, then you're going to get more flex than you would if you got them tied together. Now another thing is the door. I'm just putting a finger on here and just touching it, and you can see it goes quite a bit, and I'll bet you I ain't putting about 3 pounds of pressure at the most on there. What do you think? Maybe? I wish I had some way of measuring it, but I'm putting very little pressure on there. If the car was out in the wind at a car show outside in the wind, I would say maybe a 10-mile-an-hour wind would do this. But if you go back down here and take a look at the hinges and all this other hardware, you can see where it's flexing. You can see that it's flexing on the end of the door. You can see that this arm right here is flexing. You can see, look closely. You can see that all that flex in there. And it's really annoying when you're trying to line everything up. So we'll do the best we can. Okay, when you're looking down here at this, we're looking at the weld right here. The weld, it just welded it to the piece of metal that's welded to the door plate here is only about 2 inches tall vertically here, and so you only got about 2 inches of weld, and you got 2 inches of weld on this side. This arm is made out of 2 pieces of steel that are welded or they're bolted together, and then they're welded together down here at this end, and it's just not strong enough. It's flexing, and I worry about those welds breaking loose. That's all that's keeping this door from crashing down and breaking something else. You know, when we were doing the door alignment on the passenger side of the car, it went a lot smoother, and we're suspecting that the angle, that this arm, that the angle that it's catching this plate right here is different on this side of the car, or slightly twisted to bring it to tilt the door left in and out. And you know, the other one wasn't real easy to do, but we did manage to get it adjusted. On this side, we're going to have to slot some holes or bend something to get it to come out like the other side did. This is the driver's side of the car. This door is going to get used a lot more than the passenger side door, so we're a bit concerned about all the what the result of bent metal is going to be, and getting this thing adjusted right. I think that's all. See, with the door closed, and it's closed all the way back there, this thing still has flex in it. It still has flex in it. When we did the hinge on the hinges we made, which we don't do them very often, and we're not likely to do them very often in the future. But our arm here had a split yoke on it, and it went up. Each end of it went up directly to the bolt areas. Here we have just a maybe 2-inch tall arm that's going over to the center of this bracket, and this thing has a lot of available flex to it, if you will, because this arm is the whole thing that's controlling the position of the door in and out like this, the position of the angle of the door, and the flex when the door is open. You know, this arm right here is doing it all.
We have a Lamborghini door kit on this car, and we're trying to do the body work for the wide body and trying to get the panels lined up. In the past, we've had situations when these Lamborghini doors are on and we're doing body work, is that the body lines up great when the window's rolled down, but when you got the window rolled up, the pressure against the seal flexes the door in and out. I'm going to show you what that looks like. See, right now the window's up, and what we're looking at is we're looking at the door panel in relationship to the fender and the steel chassis right here. And you can see as we roll the window down how much that moves. That's 1/8 of an inch. It makes it hard to match up the body lines, and then, you know, do you match them up with the window down? Do you match them up with the window up? The doors flex in and out as you run the window up and down. So as this panel is as the top of the door is being pushed out, the bottom of the door is being pushed in. We have the same thing. This is a little harder to see. Put a little green tape in the background, but you're looking right in this area here, relationship between the two panels. See how this door panel came out right here? See how it sucks back in? When the window's up, there's the window down, and there's the window up. Makes it hard to align the body panels. Anyway, this is one of the reasons I really don't like Lamborghini doors, is because you just can't get the door to be as solid into the car as you do when you got normal hinges on the door. So what do you want me to adjust the doors at? You want me to adjust them with the window up, or you want me to do it with the window down?